Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to some more Daggerfall Unity. It's a brand new day. There's a glare on my screen. This is why I hate recording with the window open, but we're going to roll with it. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we have at least a dwarven broadsword, which is something. We've got some iron armor, you know. We got our fashionable stuff going on here. Also, if you don't know, you can hit use on some items, and they actually do have some sort of, like, you know, effect. I think this actually, yeah, this changes that. And then this will raise and lower your hood. So, just another reason why Daggerfall is badass, right? Anyways, so what we're gonna do, if we look at our logbook, actually, let's look at our paper here. So we have Prince Lotun's quest, and the Thieves Guild quest, and Morgaia. So these are the first two main quests we can do. Now, the best way I can describe how the main quest in this game works, if you're unfamiliar, is it's more or less a branching system that ultimately leads to the same quest at the end, right? So the ultimate goal of Daggerfall is find out why Lysandus is crying vengeance! And also to find the letters. So those are each individual quests that have overarching stories from different quest chains. This is not like in, you know, Oblivion. Oblivion, you kill Mehrunes Dagon's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to be like, ah, stop opening Oblivion gates, you dick. They have good loot. But in that game, it's very one-to-one, right? You go from the Empire to find Martin, and then you go to, like, you know, find out the cult, and then you find the cult, and then the quest is over, right? Similarly, in Skyrim, you have the Dragonborn quest, where it's like, you know, that's Alduin! What's Alduin doing here? You find out why Alduin's there, you find out why he's doing what he's doing, you find the dragon dens, you talk to Parthenax, you figure it out, you get the elders, you get the idea. So, in this game, it's more or less similar to Morrowind, but a little bit more complicated. So in Morrowind, your quests were basically, you're the Nerevarine, figure it out, right? Whereas the game's complexity in guilds was much more better than the storyline itself. I mean the complexity, not the actual quality. I love the main quest in Morrowind, it's fantastic, but we're not playing that. So, the way I'm looking at it right now, and the best I'm going to explain it, so Castle Sentinel, Sentinel is a player, Wayrest is a player, Daggerfall is the player. Like, there is so many different parts of the story we have to do. So in order to do the story, we have to work for these various factions, and then they have their own subquests that we have to do. Ultimately to get to, number 1, finding out why Lysandus is dead. Number 2, who did it. Number 3, how do we fix Lysandus' problem. Number 4, why all these things tie together. And then, of course, there's loose ends. So, the storyline in this game is very, very complex, and it's kind of non-linear in how you can approach it. However, that's a huge problem because a lot of the main quests can be broken. Not in terms of... I'm just looking to see what I have in here right now. But, not in terms of what, you know, you can physically break the quest, but you can't. It's more or less... So if I really wanted to, which, by the way, I could because I know how, I could technically find where the letters that the Emperor sent and figure out what they mean before the other players in the main story say, this is what the letters are all about. This is what this means. I can't believe how they didn't get found. I wonder where the letters are. So there's a little bit of overlap in just the non-linearity to it that can happen. So I'll try to do it in a way that makes sense for you guys and for me too. So first things first, Prince Loton of Castle Sentinel. I've already read the letter. We'll just show it again. My father and, you know, so you get the idea. So we're going to go to Sentinel and start that quest line. And then we're going to do a little bit more. Let's go ahead and save. Just always save, man. It's such a damn imperative thing. So we're going to go to Sentinel. Which, by the way, this is Hammerfell on the top, and then the bottom is High Rock. Or sorry, other way around. Bottom is Hammerfell, top is High Rock. So, and then there's these little doodads in here. I'm pointing at Bettany over here, which is that little island above the compass in the corner. Essentially, in lore, Bettany was warred over because it's a trade route area. This comes up in the lore quite a bit. There's also things like Isle of Balfiera, this is important, and then there's, you know, Sibaids or whatever it's called. So also, if you are curious about what I was talking about orcs, this is the Orsinium area. It's right next to these Hrothgarian mountain area. This area right here is actually where the orcs are segregated into in lore. I'm not like the expert on Elder Scrolls lore, by the way, but in Elder Scrolls lore, the orcs were essentially a type of elf. They're called the Osmer in lore, if I'm not mistaken. So, essentially the orcs populated various pockets of Tamriel, and they tended to be in the north. That's why Orsinium is an area here. They're actually segregated. They're still treated as a... They're treated less than the Argonians at this point, and the Khajiit, which if you've played Morrowind, you know that the Khajiit and the Argonians are considered a slave race on Vardenfell, which is the part of Morrowind. In this game, there's zero. They don't exist in this area, basically, because they just don't. The only reason orcs exist in this area is because of the Elvish history. So, we're gonna go go to the province of Sentinel, and we're gonna go into Sentinel. It seems confusing, but it's the capital. And then we're gonna go there. It doesn't matter. We'll go there cautiously. So, Sentinel is part of Hammerfell, which is technically where most Redguards are from. If I remember correctly, they sailed from an island country to the east of here, and then they kind of just populated this whole area. Most of this land is actually desert, which is why we're getting this really badass, like, architecture. So, Sentinel is kind of a mix of Bretons and Redguards, but if we went further and further down, you actually can see right here, just by this NPC, their skin tone's slightly, like, darker. So there is some dynamics to the actual, like, stuff like this. But the further down you go into Sentinel, the more likely their skin tones will change. And likewise, if you go into Orsinium, which is closer and closer towards Skyrim and higher High Rock, lots of the characters are paler, and they have... So it's so weird. You can see this guy's got, like, tights. When we go to, like, High Rock... Actually, I'll show you on the map. So if we go into Orsinium, if we actually went to the Orsinium, like, location, we don't have it unlocked yet. Bretons, since they were based... Bretons, by the way, in lore, are based on man-elves, basically. But they're also supposed to be, like, based on Britain. Hence, Breton, Britonia, Britannia, stuff like that. And specifically, they're based on, like, Britain and the Nordic Isles. And, like, the... or not Nordic Isles, but the part of the UK that encompasses Scotland, I think it's just called, like, the Welsh areas. So, if you actually go to Orsinium, by the way, you can actually see that male NPCs also have kilts instead, because they're based on, like, the Scottish and the Irish and shit. You see, this is why I fucking hate Skyrim. They absolutely just streamlined everybody to be basically the same thing. The only difference is, like, some very minor things. So, let's go ahead and anchor, and we'll get into it. So, this is a castle. Now, you're probably like, why is there dungeon tiles? We'll get into that later. So, essentially, right now, and you can see that the game actually thinks this is a dungeon. So, this is Castle Sentinel. Sentinel's crest is the moon. There's a guard here, and he tells you all those having business accurate. He tells you where they're at. So this is a knight. Now, there's no guards in this area. So basically, if I were to commit a crime, let's say actually, I'll show you right now. I can do this all I want. He's not going to die. He's two-dimensional. If I attack this guard, he'll attack me, and the entirety of all these guards in the area will aggro to me. Likewise, if I go into, say... Let's see. Will it let me do it? If I go in this area, which leads to the actual Sentinel dungeon, this guy will aggro to me, because I'm trespassing, technically. And there's some areas, like if we go up here, we can actually go and see... Yeah, this is where Queen Akarithi's at. This is a battle mage. And then there's like NPCs in here we can get quests from. These are nobles. And these areas don't really have anything in them. There's no loot. Since this is technically a dungeon with another layer attached to it, look at this tiny dude. I love how if you interact with him, he makes that fucking scary sound too. But yeah, I'll show you guys how castles work just so you get the idea. So these are noble NPCs. You can see we can actually get quests from them if we want to. There's no reputation loss for saying no, by the way. And these are just decoration. They're not actually... Holy shit, I actually do have them aggro right now. Wow. You can see that my speech skills kicking in there because of that. So, I'm scared shitless now. These enemies are very high level. I guess they're not aggro, but I pacified something. I don't think that's good. That might have just been in the dungeon itself, and I'm just getting some artifacting of that. But if we go up here, as you can hear from the directions, you can activate these switches, and you can go up here, and we can do quests for Queen Akarithi. Apparently kings just don't exist in this game, but this is a very, a breast-centric game, so it kind of makes sense that there's not really any interactions. Also, hunky boys! With big nips! Oh, look at those nips. Anyways. So this is Queen Akarithi. I think this is, yeah, Prince Greklith. So, Queen Akarithi is a huge player in the Sentinel lore. So, Sentinel is actually in lore allied primarily to Daggerfall. So, if you're curious about what's going on story-wise, you can see this game has a lot of actual complexity and thought put into it. But that's also because this was a niche game for niche people who wanted to play a niche type of game. There was no mainstream idea that, oh, they gotta be all the quirky elves and all the sexy ladies, lol. No, this is just a game based on, like, love of, like, D&D and shit. So, this right here is Prince Lothan. We'll talk to him. Welcome to Castle Sentinel. Shriaki, I guess you must have received my letter. I know some things about Lysandus and why he might be haunting Daggerfall, but before I tell you, you have to promise to do something for me first. Is that alright? You will. Thank RK. You see, I used to have an older brother 10 or 11 years older than me named Kachukta. Whenever I ask what happened to him, I'm told a different story. Some say he's sick and died. Some say he was kidnapped by the Underking. I want to know the truth. If you can find some proof of what really happened to him, I'll tell you all I know about King Lysandus. So, before I move on, in lore, there is a real name for that character. The name that he gives you is generated, so this technically does exist in Elder Scrolls lore, but it's weird. So let's go ahead and save, and not dungeon start, quest start. This is a dungeon quest, by the way, eventually. So let's go ahead and talk to this dude here. I'm sorry? Oh, shit. Okay, I'm gonna not talk to him. Let's talk to some townfolk first. Alright, so if we go into people, it doesn't show up. Things doesn't show up. So tell me about Kachukta. Ask someone else, I'm running late. I'm sorry to hear that. So, this is part of the quest we have to do. None of your damn business. I'm so sorry. How about you? I don't know nothing about Kachukta. I ain't saying no more. Okay. Go on and find a friend or something. How about I ask you politely? Fine. Apprise me the situation with Kachukta. I don't have the first clue. Blunt. Alright. Kachukta from round here? Alright. By the Dark Lord as if I know. No, fine. We'll talk to a guard. Maybe he'll be a little bit less asshole-ish. Ask someone who gives a damn. Go on and find a friend. Okay, I will. Apparently these peasants don't really have what I want. We'll go into a... Let's see, is that a mage's guild up there? We'll see. This part is kind of required, kind of not, but it's important because it helps trigger the next quest chain in this quest. So, if you're curious though, Sentinel is... I hate to say it, Sentinel is like the only decent faction in the entire, like, Iliac Bay. They're not guilty of as much shit. The Order of the Candle. Wow. We'll go in an inn then. Maybe I'll get some answers in there. Who knows? They're not the most devious. Wayrest, by the way, is just straight up awful. No! Sorry I asked. Good, you should be. No! I'm trying to do stuff. Let me talk to this man. Fuck you, dude! Don't think... I'll be gone! Okay, how about Kachukta? No one knows anything about Kachukta, apparently. It's none of my damn business. Oh, I did not mean to anchor. That's totally my fault. Well, fuck me, dude. Apparently, Kachukta is a... I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or not, and I don't really care. It's not the lore name, so I'm not worried about it. Basically, I'm gonna boil it down for you if this fucking game doesn't give me what I'm looking for in the first place. Essentially, everybody has a different story about what happened to this kid, right? Some people say, oh, he got sick and died. Others say he got kidnapped. Others say... Actually, I think it is dynamic what NPCs can tell you. I'm not sure if any of them actually tell you the truth either. That's the main thing. I think that's part of the quest's love, is that you don't know. So, yo! Tell me about Kachukta! I actually have a life to lead. I'm sorry I asked. We'll talk to our bros in the Mages Guild then, because apparently fucking nobody else gives a damn about me. Oh, that's sad, dude. Okay, so... Mages Guild, my homies, my guys in magic, my Enwas with attitude. Can we please talk about this? Yo! Talk. Go bother someone else. Fucking asshole. I will. We'll talk to you then. Oh my god. Avail yourself to the nearest exit. Oh my god. I like that. At least one of my guild homies is gonna say something, am I correct? Or is everybody just an asshole? Because I don't think you have to do this. Oh, those eyebrows! Oh my god. Avail yourself to the nearest exit. I will, fucking asshole. Scary man. How about I ask you bluntly? Now it's not... How about politely? Damn it. Do I have to talk to nobles? I don't have any way of seeing my reputation. Oh, for God's sake. That's annoying. I'm not gonna lie here. Oh, damn it, that's right. I don't have free board yet. Eventually you do get free board in there. I guess I'll do it in the palace then. Because apparently nobility is the only people who are gonna give me the fucking time of day. Which is bullshit. As someone who gives a damn. You're right. Fucking call me a dark elf, you fucking Breton piece of shit. I love how racism is so casual in this game. It's what makes it so fun. Everyone just calls you your race, like, and insults your race constantly. I have some coffee next to me as well. This isn't a hard quest. I know what you're supposed to do. It's just getting the information is the hardest part. So what we need to do is we need to talk to people and ask around about Kachukta. And, eventually we're gonna get a location. How about a guard? Can you please tell me? Fucking lackey, I hate you. Piece of shit. We'll go inside this fucking castle and ask the Blue Bloods then. You know why they call it Blue Bloods? Is because people had veins showing, if you're ever curious. I want to talk to you. I don't care. Alright, we'll talk to this Cleavy lady here. Hey, how's it going? My eyes are up here. How droll. Blunt. How refreshing. A dark elf with manners. Sadly. How racist. What do you got, Princess Leia? Run along now. Fucking hell. Why the hell makes you think I'd... That's a good insult, actually. Well met, stranger. Dr. Quirrell, can you help me? I don't like this casual racism here. Fucking Dr. Quirrell says the N-word. I don't like this. I don't have time for your type. Good. I don't have time for your type either. Fuck you. Alright, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Alright, so I'll go to... How about Babushka over here? Boobasadada! Bubbasadada. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I don't think it matters. Okay, we'll talk to you. How about this? Tell me about the Underking. It's none of your damn business. Okay. Even if I did know. Fucking Christ. Why? Oh, I want to see if this is actually a new thing. Hang on a second. I haven't actually checked this yet. So in... Okay, never mind, yeah. I thought that Unity would make that actually, like, enterable cemeteries, but I guess not. It's not a huge loss, but I mean, I noticed it when I was playing it just now. Alright, we can still get the quest no matter what. We'll talk about Kachukta. I neither know nor much care. That's a me response. That really is. I gotta go. Oh, it's perfect. That's exactly what I respect about people just saying, I gotta go. I actually have a life to lead. You mean live? Okay, we'll go to another tavern. So we don't have free taverns in this area, by the way. That's only in Daggerfall because of our nightly order. So, we're just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Which is, basically, I ain't know nothing about Kachukta. Okay. We're gonna have to go and just rent a room out. Also, if you have letters of credit from another country, or sorry, province, they don't count. We'll just say 3 days. Take it or leave it, Breton. Thanks for calling me that. Could be anywhere. There we go. He died a few years ago. What else do you know? Okay, so we got some information. That's a huge start. What about him? Wouldn't be telling a dark elf. I don't like your tone. What about you? None of your damn business, kid. Alright. This guy looks like somebody I know in real life, and it's freaky. Go and find a friend or someone who cares. Let's see if there's any whores upstairs that'll tell me. Okay, so by the way, these are the kind of things if you want to cheese the game. Once you're a certain level, you can just loot these and you'll... I'll demonstrate. So, steel katana... Iron... Candle... Prayer beads... Map, probably. Yay. I'm gonna get in so much deep shit, you watch. Actually, I know what I can do. I thought it was worth more. We're in deep shit, yep. Uh-oh. It's the fuzz! Oh, shit! Well, joke's on you, funny man. Guards can't teleport. It's cute. So, we'll just do this. We'll take a room for 3 days in here, and then we will basically get our stats up. So what we're trying to do, if you couldn't tell, is we're trying to ask around town, and most places ain't got a clue. We're trying to essentially find out what happened to this dude's brother. This is the only quest in the game you have to do this, by the way, and it's unfortunate that it even exists in the first place, because it's very temperamental. So we'll just go ahead and rest. Now, it's not like other quests in this game where the dungeons are static. A lot of the main quest dungeons are static. This one is a random dungeon in Sentinel, I'm pretty sure. I think it has to be specifically in Sentinel. No! Okay. Where am I? I ain't got... Could shoot to nobody! God damn. Oh, those damn spies. Yeah. I'm new to Sentinel 2. Now please excuse me. You're not new. Don't act like you are. So we're just trying to make the timer proc for when the actual like quest will spawn. This can take upwards of like a week in-game, or it can take like 3 days, or it can take 1. I've had it as quick as 1 day from what I've done. And that's because I actually got the fucking answers to like out of people, and that was what made it actually work. So this is a definite problem, but we'll see. So we're gonna go outside. The other quickest way to do this is to just travel to other areas in Sentinel, and just eventually you'll have the quest be given to you. Like, everything in this game is pretty much a letter goes in your pocket, because your character doesn't know how to deal with that shit. So, no, this is a big-ass tavern, I have to admit. Don't be like, oh, you're getting lost in Sentinel in a random city. Yes. Yes, I am, actually. But hey, we got a Dwarven Longsword out of the whole deal. There we go. So let's go ahead and save, and we'll just wander around. How about Ice and Ferment? Icefermir. I can't even pronounce that. I don't even know where you'd start. So, what time is it? It's probably like 1 in the morning. Oh, it's pretty late. God damn it. Hey! See what I was talking about? Actually, it's like a red guard. You could care less. I'm sorry. How about you? I have a life to lead. You know what? If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd have had, like, $4. Now it's nighttime. Okay. So let's... This is the only thing I don't like about this quest, and forgive me if it seems like it's tedious, but yeah, you have to do this. The Silver Gnome! I'm at a gnome! I'm at a gnome! A gnome, a motherfucking gnome! I speak for the motherfucking birds and bees. Sup, kid? Oh, maybe I know something, but I'm not talking about it, you son of a bitch. I'm afraid. No, you're not. Listen! Put me wise! How about the Underking? You don't know anything, you're just a kid. Go fuck yourself. I like how they know your name, too. I gotta go. I gotta go. Alright, we'll talk to Jack Black over here. Well, this is Jack Black's older, more mature Jack Black cousin. This is Jack Black Ebony Booty Call number 420. Big Deep Throat edition. So, cool. Takes whole dick. I love porn names. They're just the greatest thing ever. Someone had to creatively make that decision. That's what makes it so funny. But I mean, it gets your attention, I guess, right? So, okay. At least we're getting some skill checks doing this shit. But this is the unfortunate reality of doing the fucking quests in this game. I could do other things in the background, but I want to make sure I'm doing them in order, because if you do them out of order, it can be really, well, problematic if you couldn't tell. There we go! A thin rail of a woman steps forward and hands you a note. She turns aside all your questions with a gaunt, expressionless face. The Devil's Dungeon. That's cool. Alright, if you are interested in learning the truth about Prince Kachukta, meet me at the Devil's Dungeon in Akhenator, I can barely even say that, of Sentinel. Akhenator, sounds like a fucking transformer. Akhenator. Okay, we'll go there. There's no time limit, but I prefer to go in the daylight where I can actually fucking see. In the Devil's Dungeon. That is the most badass name for... That sounds like a nightclub name.
Welcome to the Devil's Dungeon.
Oh, I can do better.
Welcome to the Devil's Dungeon. Here we will serve you the finest drinks on tap. Bring me 90 precursor orbs, and your wish shall be fulfilled.
You're welcome. You probably didn't know I could do that, and now you know. Alright, let's hope there's not 2 Devil's Dungeons and I end up looking like a jackass. So, you're not the kid I'm looking for, you're just the kid. This is the... You're too late. No, you're not. I'll show you too late. You're too late. Yeah, I went there. That turned into Mephisto and Dr. Claw, and there we are. Shriaki. Shh. I would prefer that nobody sees me talking with you. It has come to our attention that the Underking is being wrongly accused of abducting Prince Kachukta. Before you judge, check into Castle Phalem. I'll mark it on your map. Who am I? Just call me a loyal servant. Now move away before anyone gets suspicious. Go on, scram! So, there we go. Sorry if I clipped the mic. I do that sometimes when I get into it. Anywho, so this is hopefully not going to be an ultra long video. I should be able to do this. Alright, so we need to go to Castle Farum, or whatever it was. Castle Dark Souls 2 armor set. There we go. Castle Phalem. Wow, it's on the fucking island. That's cool. Alright, and we'll go here. So, by the way, this is a dungeon. Your path is flanked by toppled masonry. I'm not sure what that means. Look at this. This is so fucking cool, dude. You have no idea. If you haven't played Daggerfall Unity yet, this is just awesome. Is there extra stuff they added to this? No. By the way, all these doors, they lead to the exact same spot. Alright, so what we're looking for is going to be a letter parcel. And it could be anywhere. This is a random dungeon, by the way. So, if you're curious, we can just go out and this leads always to the same areas. There can be numerous exits to a dungeon, but they all enter back in the same way. So let's go ahead and add our mark to start here. Alright, here we got undead already. Undead and dudes. Okay. Dudes is actually probably a good thing because we want to make sure we can start getting some better armor again. Oh, I love this music. Alright, first dungeon of the day. This is a brand new day, it's a brand new dungeon. Watch me find the item in 2 seconds and I'm gonna cry. Like, wow. Actually, if I did, I'd be very happy. Because I would love to find the item quickly for how long it took me to get the fucking info here. So, if you're curious, the servant that we just talked to is actually a servant of the Underking, which we'll get into later. So, there's some blood. So it's going to be in a quest location. This is technically a quest location, you can tell because it's got fancy carpet. Yeah, there's a lot of dungeons it can be. Some quests have a higher bias towards getting certain dungeons because, well, I think Sindasa's also is one where you have to kill a werewolf. Okay, that's a Z level change. That's something I gotta remember. This could be a quest locale. Or it could be just a Skeleman room. Like I said, your mileage may vary. Now, as I've said in the past, if we do get a broken dungeon, I will use console to make sure I actually can do it. But only if it's the last thing I have to do, because otherwise, I don't want to just be like, oh, we're going straight to the area, because that seems really cheesy to me, and I don't like it either. I mean, if it's a requirement, that's one thing. But I don't like to do it out of just, oh, well, I don't know where it's at, fuck it, I haven't tried hard enough. Like, I genuinely try to make sure I don't have to do that. And I've only ever had to do it a few times recently. And that was because I was like, where in the fuck is it? It was like so convoluted. And actually, I hadn't explored the area on accident too, so that's kind of my own fuck up. So I guess we kind of cleared this branch out. That's already a good start. We can always check to see how big the dungeon is, but I prefer not to do that. I like to be surprised. Plus, it's just more fun. So that sounds like an orc. So orcs make that noise. They all make that sound. There's a few different types of orcs. There's orcs, orc warrior... No, orc sergeant, orc warlord, I'm pretty sure, in that order. And they all... Oh, fuck me. We'll come back to this later. I'm gonna do that last. If I can help it. That's just the module that everybody knows is not fun. I'll mark this. Oh, good lord. Yeah, fuck that whole area. That is, without a doubt, one of the most annoying modules to get. And we're looking for a piece of paper, basically, too. So that's what makes this a little bit harder. But hey, at least we got a pretty good dungeon layout. We got skeletons, orcs, and humanoids. So this is a pretty good dungeon. I'll take that. I think this is also something new. I think all the potions have been re-updated to have different graphics using pre-existing ones. Because I could have sworn in old Daggerfall they were all blue bottles, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, I could be just remembering that wrong. Who knows? Okay. So don't touch anything either. If you're ever curious, unless you know what you're doing, don't touch any of the random objects, because they could be teleporters, they could be keys, they could be anything. And it can be very fucking awful. It's very, very likely as well. Especially in random dungeons. In normal ones... Oh, fuck me. In normal ones, it's a bit different. In normal dungeons, like quest dungeons, they're actually... like, usually... I say usually, but they should be allocated to specific things. So, I'm actually going to do something in here, so I know I don't have to go back here later, because these modules loop on top of a lot of shit. So I'm trying to be very cautious about this. I apologize it took so long, but that's just the nature of this quest in particular. So we've already been in here. And I'm apologizing for the outside noise, by the way, but like our neighbors that got kicked out, thank God, their entire house is getting remodeled, so I'm happy. Yeah, they got like the entire place was like dilapidated, basically. It was a good time. I had to complain to our property management about it for like months, and they finally did. They also stole from us too. It was great. There's no time limit for this, so I'm going to take this a little bit more at my own pace. Which is nice, because holy shit, dude, the last couple dungeons I've done, we cut it real close on that fucking, like, snake one. That one was unfucking believable, dude. I can't believe how lucky that was. I don't see a slaughterfish down there. So this is... So my advice as well is to do waterlogged dungeons either last or first. It's up to you. But these will almost always end in a quest locale, so don't feel bad for doing them. You're never going to get, like, insane complex dungeon branches in underwater ones. It's the way the game is programmed. It's not going to happen. So don't worry about that. Also, if you're curious, water walking doesn't incorporate in this game, like, walking on water as well. It also increases your movement speed in water. I know it's weird, but it's just the way it works. Morrowind and Oblivion onward, they had proper water walking. I think when you had 99 athletics, or sorry, 100 athletics in Oblivion, you could run on water, which was kind of... it was interesting. I don't think there was much of a benefit in doing that, but hey, you could do it. Okay, so nothing underwater. That's probably a relief, I guess, to somebody. I don't mind the underwater dungeon sections. They're not that bad. There's only a set number of enemies, like drow, and stuff like that can spawn in there, so it's not... Oh, I came down this way. That's right. No, I didn't. I didn't do that at all. Okay. That pot is decoration. You can't pick it up. Okay. And no, the letters aren't going to be in a loot pile. The letters are going to be... their own little stack. It looks like a just piece of paper, like in our inventory. And they're not going to be in the middle of like a dungeon like this. They're going to be in a specific location each time. Like, they're called quest locales, usually, by most players. It's essentially where the game will spawn a quest-specific NPC or object. By the way, going in and out of a dungeon does not reset the location. It will always be static once you walk in with that quest active. It'll be different if you go in with a different quest, yes, but it will always be in the same spot. Like, the letters, if I keep walking in and out right now, the letters are going to be in the exact same spot every single time until I get a different quest involving this dungeon. It's possible to get the same dungeon numerous times, but the quest locale will always change. But it tends to be Oh, there's some math you can look into of how it actually works, but I don't know entirely how it works either, so don't question me on it. I don't know, man. I'm just doing what I know best. Or knowing what I know best, which is kind of half-assed information usually. But for the most part, with Daggerfall, I'm very confident, because I've played this game for a long time. Well... I like how I say don't fucking touch stuff and then I go around and do it anyways. So another reason you don't want to do that, and we haven't seen it demonstrated yet, we've seen a trap, but there's different types of traps. There's magic traps, which can just cast spells on you, and by the way, it could just fucking nuke your ass if you're not careful. And then there's fire traps, there's instant damage traps, there's poison traps, which are the worst because you don't know it even hits you until you're poisoned. I don't think there's disease traps. It wouldn't surprise me. There's just instant damage contact traps. If you name it, it's probably in this game. And there's also teleporters too, so let's just go ahead and throw some of this shit in our wagon while I'm here. And how much gold? We'll put in 4,000 worth. We'll keep the other one. Okay, good. So... we'll go down this way, just to make sure. And then we'll probably have to begrudgingly do that other big fucking room. We all have different names for it. Mine is the Tower of Horseshit. That's my professional like version of calling it that. So I've already been in here, I think. Have I already been up here? Sometimes doors can be spawned as open. So it's very difficult to determine sometimes. That's just kind of a problem with the game. So I'm going to mark this off, because I know I've already been through that path at one point to get in here. So we're going to have to mark this. You see, this is why I say, if you don't have a plan... I hear an angry skeleman. If you don't have a plan... If God has a plan for me... yeah, if you don't have a plan for how you're going to deal with, like, marking places you've already been, dungeon crawling can be absolutely hell. And if your sense of direction's bad, that's even worse. Alright. We're probably close to getting to another dungeon exit here. Okay, so this area we can officially say we have done, because we've already crossed up to here. Let's make sure... Also, I haven't explained this yet, but if you get your fatigue all the way down, and you get, like, your fatigue drops, enemies can spawn in the dungeon like they normally can. They have a set timer. I think it's once every 8 hours they can spawn a dungeon creature near your location. Based on resting, not just, like, they randomly spawn. But, if you do that, they will spawn on top of you and you will die. And it's not a good time. So always, 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 always make sure your fatigue is high. And always, always, always make sure you're resting in an area that you know... I haven't even described this yet, but like if you rest in an area where, like let's say I did it right here, I could get ganked from behind and not see it coming. So it's best to do stuff like this so you can at least get to an area that's safe if an enemy spawns. There's a lot of shit that actually goes into this. Watch me break my own rule. But I'm confident, so it's okay. There we go. Fucking... I opened it at one point, and then I fucking cocked it up. Damn it. Oh, I hate lockpicking. You know, there's one thing I don't mind in the other Elder Scrolls games, and it's lockpicking. Morrowind is a lot like this, except you use probes and lockpicks. Finally! Oh my god. You're fucking kidding. That's just the Daggerfall experience, baby. Another day in the life of the warrior clan. I paint my likeness on the side of a van. Word, we casting spells off Gandalf blasting. Huh! Pop, pop, another goblin drops. I fucking love that song. I've waxed lyrical about that song, Middle Earth, like every 5 minutes. It's because it's goddamn awesome. So it's safe to assume we don't need to be in this spot. Like, at all. There's nothing in here for us. I think this just looped back up to the main dungeon entrance, am I right? God. You know, I hate to say it, but I think we're going to have to go in the Tower of Power that's too sweet to be sour, and the sky's the limit and space is the place. Oh, come on, I can do better than that. Hang on a second. Let me bust out my macho chops. I've already done a Dr. Claw, so I might as well, right? Did I... What's up here? I don't remember. This is the problem. I'm getting pissy. God damn it. Okay, so we don't need to be here either. This whole area is no-no. Unless... Okay, there's no secret passages. I'm double checking because I have a really bad habit of not checking for secret passages in hallways. I mainly do it when I'm in a closet or something because it's a lot more easier. Alright, I'll do it. I gotta back up for my mic a bit to do this.
Oh yes, the Tower of Power too sweet to be sour. Sky's the limit and space is the place. Oh yeah, I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. I'm the cream of the crop and I'll rise up to the top in this cream, oh yeah.
That's the only way you can do Macho Man. There's no other way. You have to go all the way or don't do it at all, okay? It's like, you don't just say one day in sex, we're doing anal! You have to lead up to that. You gotta, like, talk your way into doing that. You don't just do anal, right? I like how a conversation about Macho Man Randy Savage has immediately turned into a conversation about anal sex. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. If you're curious, how do I have vocal power like that, especially to project my voice as weirdly as I can? It's because I've done voice work for like 15 years outside of YouTube. I've been a singer since I was a kid, and I have a lot of pride in that. Alright, so we're gonna have to deal with the Tower of fucking Power. But to be safe, I'm gonna cut it here because I don't know how much longer this could go.